Woo! Woo! What is up, Holden? We are back, baby. What an exciting NFL Week 2. Dude, just when we thought that Week 1 couldn't get any better, Week 2 somehow topped it with even more drama, but that's the NFL, baby.
This is true. It was a wild Week 2. Unfortunate for me, but it's football, baby.
Dude, you almost had it.
You can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
I mean,
hey, still 500.
We'll talk about it.
Really?
Still 5. And weren't we talking about that last week? Where
we were
being in that 1-0 spot is just so much better than being in the hole and digging yourself out. So now you kind of give yourself that little buffer of a game.
Yeah.
And excuse me while I roll up to the crib.
Golly.
Gonna pop in real quick and then
back.
Hey, hot car guy's back, baby. Let's
just a little tease of the guy in the car.
Just a little tease.
You got some leftovers in your hand?
I do have some leftovers. Yeah, I went to Vinny's today and got myself a black chicken wrap. Highly recommend.
Denny's?
Vinny's.
Oh, Vinny's. I was like, yo, why would you do that to yourself? I was like, wow, it really must have been a rough weekend.
No. It was a little rough. Yesterday was a little rough. Watching the first half of football was pretty rough, but little side. Well, sorry, you go ahead. Let's do the intro first. I can't get into it right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm Sean. I'm partial to those Buffalo. Hopefully, when this airs, 2-0 Bills, baby.
My name is Holden, and I am partial to the Washington Commanders, currently sitting at 500.
Oof. And this is partially biased. The show with biased takes from biased fans, partially. I will say so far, I got the call right here. Our record's better than last week, so that's good. That's a win. I think we're dead even right now, 7-7.
Okay.
Hopefully I get both right. So that way, I have a game up on you. Or actually 2 games. Yeah, 1 game up on you because you also took the Bills. But
I did take the Bills.
You took Skull and I took, the Birds. So yeah, that's a tough one. So hopefully that works out. That's exciting. Best bets didn't suck quite as much. You were 500.
500, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Jahan was a nice cash. I think he had like 56 yards, which was nice. And then I had the +1. I did go ahead and do something I rarely do, which is I saw Washington at halftime at 21.5, saw them at 19.5, saw them at 14.5, and I took them all. Very dangerous, but when you have that feeling that your team's going to make those adjustments, you just do it, and I did it, and it paid off this time.
Dude, at least you can make something out of a loss. At least you
That's true.
The bank a little.
That's true. That's true.
It looks like a good team. I'm excited for our guest to give us an insight on that because my thoughts. And for the audience at home who does not know, Holden thinks, and we'll get into it when our guest comes on, but I just want to refresh the folks at home that it's the defense. That was the problem. And I argue that when your team doesn't score any points in the whole first half, the offense may be, they didn't have a good day. So you can't just put it just on the defense. But we'll get to that. But hold on real quick, just brief recap. What was the most exciting game to you this weekend?
I'm going to have to go. There were a couple, but I'm going to have to go. The most exciting game was probably the Arizona game.
Ooh, that was nuts.
Yeah, that was just like, you just didn't see it coming. Like, you just did not see that ending coming. Hunter Renfrow fumbling twice. That's wild. Obviously, Ravens.
What was that play call in the Raiders game?
Which play call? The one where they passed it to Renfrow? Like, why not just run it?
Yeah, on that out route. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, you're pretty much in field goal territory. You got time
especially
on your side.
For their guy. Yeah, for their guy.
That was
Carlson,
second down.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's
just run a stick route.
I have no idea. And the crazy part is, Renfrow had just fumbled and they just had recovered, and then it's like they do the same thing and then they bust it out again. Like, he's probably pissed off. He got a little rattled up after that play too. But dude, that was just crazy. It was a big play. That's gonna be wild in a Hard Knocks in season when they talk about that. That's gonna be wild.
Yeah, because it is the Raiders, right? It's not. Or is Arizona?
It's Arizona.
Oh, that's lame, dude.
They'll probably talk about that.
So
briefly.
like, I know you're big on Hard Knocks in season, but like beforehand, Amazon Prime did something like that, like their version of it, and they had Arizona Cardinals back when it was Bruce Arians and oh shoot, what's his face, USC quarterback who was in Cincinnati forever and went to Cardinals eventually, Carson Palmer. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
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 they did
yeah,
something similar
yeah.
like that. So
Okay,
that's too fresh for me. Although that was probably 10 years ago now. Yeah, dude, that was a wild one. I think in that logic, it's just like, what are the odds a wide receiver fumbles twice? Because I feel when like running backs
that's true.
fumble, it's like, no, we're done. Like, nope, we're not, your job is to carry the rock and make sure nothing happens to it, you know. But a wide receiver, you're kind of like, you know, it was just a bad ball.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anything else
and
stick out
he
to you?
typically, Browns, dude. Browns gave up
Oh,
a
dude.
insane lead.
Okay.
If I had put myself in a Browns, if I was a Browns fan, I put myself in that position. I don't know what I would do with myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
truly, like that would be a terrible way to lose.
No,
And you're up 13, 14 points with under 2 minutes and you lose a ball game. Inexcusable, personally, in my opinion. I
yeah,
think it was the first time that that's happened in the history of the NFL. Like
yeah.
however many games have been played,
That was the first
like
time.
that's the first time something like that's happened.
Yeah.
They had a 99.9 chance to win, as everybody's probably seen.
Mm-hmm.
Just nuts, dude. Like it's just that's just crazy. And then you go through that thing of like, should you have stayed in bounds? Like, should Chubb have went in for the TD? Should have just sat and just I don't know.
No,
Like that's stuff you start running into. It's like you're giving them chances. You wouldn't expect the defense to have a blown coverage like that and have
no.
Garrett Wilson wide open like that, but it happens. And like it just proved that this stuff can happen.
I mean, it does, but I think like I've seen that take on Twitter a lot with like that Chubb run. It's like, oh, if he had just gone down here and like ran a clock or whatever. And
Sure, sure.
but how is he gonna know that at the time? Like I'm
You're
always in the
exactly.
position of like more points, safer lead. Let's do it. You know.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree. I agree. It's just everybody's going to make the argument like, "Oh, you should have done that." I'm like, "Yeah, you should. Your defense shouldn't have let a guy run by their secondary like that." And
yeah.
then when you're kicking an onside kick, you don't let the ball go 10 yards. You go play the ball.
Yep.
You don't have to defenses don't have to wait for the ball.
Nope.
You go get the ball. You
Yep.
don't just let it sit there and then hit the 5 yards whatever, or 10 yards. You
Mm-hmm.
go get the ball. It seemed like they were just like waiting for the ball to spin to them almost. It's just like
Tell him,
go play the ball.
dude.
Knock it out of bounds. Just knock it out of bounds.
Knock it out of bounds. Get it out of here. Yeah, dude. No, I'm with you. That was nuts. That was so dumb. What was the worst game
Crazy.
that stuck out to you?
The worst game that stuck out to me,
Yeah, well,
dude.
that was just a real stinker. You know.
Uh, I don't know. Were there stinker games? I'm trying to think if
Maybe
there were
Colts
some.
Jags.
That was a stinker. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
that was pretty
stinker, and
bad.
made me feel better about our win
Yeah.
against the Jags. Just felt like a little bit more like reassuring. Like, hey, this team's
Mm-hmm.
actually decent because everyone's got the Colts winning this
Yeah.
division, and they haven't won a game yet, and they're 0-1-1 in their division,
Yep.
and it's just like it just made me feel good that they kind of couldn't put up points, and it's making me think Jim Irsay, had more problems than just the quarterback over there.
Oh, I agree,
And
1,000%. I think
I'm
Carson Wentz was the scapegoat.
yeah, and I'm like sitting there thinking like my quarterback's doing just fine right now. So
Yeah.
for
No.
right now,
For
long
for right
season,
now.
but
For right now.
I haven't this hasn't happened in Washington's history at quarterback, what he's doing
No.
right now. It really hasn't. So
We'll see. Hopefully, it keeps up. Just last point to what you brought up about the Browns that I hadn't thought about, dude. This is anyone's division, AFC North. Like, I mean,
oh
and
yeah.
no one has more than one win, and just like a huge blown opportunity with all like, I mean, legal and moral allegations aside or whatever. It's just like you had the opportunity to go up 2-0 when you're not at your strongest, and like when you're talking about, week 11 when you're at full strength or whatever, you know you're going to be looking back like we really could have used this game potentially because Pittsburgh isn't bad. I mean, since he hopefully figures it out, and then Baltimore, I guess, is beatable. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my games if that's cool.
Let's go for it, bro.
Yeah, man. So my best and potentially worst game is going to be the Bills. That's a biased take. We're recording on a Monday, 5:30 to be exactly. Kickoff is at 7:15. I hope it's going to be the best game of the week, and just like because the Titans always seem to have our number, Derrick Henry especially, and that's frustrating. And part of me is like it's different. This is going to be at home. The past two times we're on the road. There's no slipping on some crappy field. It's our home turf. So, but also could be the worst. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with. I'm going to say Texans Broncos. I think that was the worst game outside of this
That's a good one.
And a
Yeah, that's
non-biased
true.
one, I'll say Ravens Dolphins. Hey, give credit where credit's due. Dolphins had a hell of a comeback. I feel bad for Lamar
Wild.
Jackson. He's doing everything for that team. He's going to get paid so
Oh
much
yeah,
damn money.
he will. Yeah,
But
wild game.
yeah, but Texans Broncos, we'll get into that. But golly, Broncos are just not living up to any of the hype that was built up in the media so far. But
And I wonder on some of those real quick though, like with Russell and
mhm.
like Carson, like I'm
Yeah.
giving some of these quarterbacks a couple weeks to figure it out. Like by week
Mhm.
6, 7, 8, if they're still kind of looking like that, then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, what's going on? But you wonder, it's like Russell really hasn't done anything yet. I
No.
know we're 1-1, but like Carson has played well and we've looked good offensively. I feel like
Yeah.
I mean I know he's got weapons, but like
Yeah.
I feel like Russell has weapons too. I feel like he's got a nice two back set where he has a nice Javante, Melvin Gordon, and
Mhm.
then you've got decent receivers that should be able to make more plays than they're making. I feel like so.
I would say objectively, like Washington is doing more with less. Like I think Jahan Dotson being a first round pick, it's like you're like, yes, there are high expectations, but like the amount of play he's had in 2 weeks' time is incredible. Like, but I think
Yeah,
there's like bigger names on the Broncos and just like,
yeah. There's the Jerry Judy who got paid. I mean, not paid. Cortland Sutton got paid.
yep,
He's a captain.
mm-hmm,
Jerry Judy was a first round pick as well, and I
yep,
mean, I think he got a little banged up in that game too. But again, like these are some pretty big names too that I'm like there should be,
Javante Williams,
and Russell Wilson is the second highest paid quarterback. Like
yeah,
that's we need to see more out of that, dude.
and he made some no names in Seattle like look really good. Not to say they weren't bad. I mean, they're still pressure football players, but like, what is it like? Curse really wasn't that good before then. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know Tyler Lockett was like the big name that he had forever, but everyone else just seemed to kind of like wasn't anything
yeah,
crazy. Like, not a
yeah.
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams guy. Like, but he made
Right.
them good. So no,
Yep.
that's just frustrating. But got anything else before we get on our special guest?
I don't think so, dude. Just
Where
I'm not really. I mean, I'm excited about our guest. I'm excited about our guest, but you know.
Yeah, you are. No, dude, for sure. All right, man. Well, let's get it started. Let's get a big, warm, partially biased round of applause for our returning Dallas Cowboys expert insider, Anthony Watt.
Jesus
What's going on,
Christ.
fellas?
That was
Holy
ridiculous. That I was
That
not expecting that.
Dude, I was anxiously waiting on the floor for like 10 minutes.
That was actually kind of sick, dude.
that was incredible for our audio listeners
That
who missed that. I feel bad for them, but that's definitely going on the TikTok. I can tell you that right now.
My
that was
wife's
sick.
my wife's gonna be so mad when she realizes I found this hidden in the garage.
Joke's on her. Dude, that's a
little
classic.
little present. Was that, what is that, a birthday present or a Christmas present she had hiding from you?
No, it wasn't allowed in our house because it was creepy.
Oh, got you.
No. What's next? No. Dude, really gotta stop this cancel culture. No.
I know it.
No. Anyway, man. Anthony, welcome back to the show. How you been? How you doing? How you been?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm much better than I was a week ago. I'll tell you that much.
I bet.
Man,
No.
I was I don't think I could talk to you for what, like 3 days, right?
Yeah, so typically how it works for people that don't know, like Anthony's one of my only friends that I actually tolerate as a Cowboys fan, because I will tell you this, like if there's somebody that runs deep in those colors, it's actually this man right here. There are so many
yeah.
Cowboys fans, and there's a big, people talk about Cowboy fans like, oh, they're Cowboy fans and nobody likes the Cowboys. Well, there's one guy right here that actually bleeds these colors and truly knows everything about the Cowboys. And so I tolerate it because we share the passion for football. And that's just, even though we have these rival teams, it's like they're just, he's that deep, he runs that deep. We both give each other space after a loss. We kind of know the drill. And I wanted to call him and just check up with him. And finally he called me and we talked it out. And he was going through a really rough time. Let's just say that. I mean, you quarterback going down is a rough spot to
Week
be in,
one,
especially week one when you have
you
all
can
this
relate.
anticipation.
Last season.
Oh yeah, we do it every year how bad our quarterbacks are. So
Yeah, I think it was not just the quarterback going down, but like the way that we played, it was a lot of different pieces that I didn't have as much hope as I did to start the season, but excited what happened yesterday. So,
Yeah, it was a
that'll.
huge home win.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
big. It was really big.
It really
It
was.
was.
I think it was. It's exactly how we have to win games. Are we even talking about this game yet, or what are we
We
doing?
can. Well, we're just going to do like highlights or whatever. Is that your highlight of this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it was not just the win, but the way that we won. It was the formula that I think I was hoping that we would kind of fall into, because until we get kind of the full cavalry back, I think it's going to be defense and keeping the ball away from the other team is how we're going to win games, and sustaining the long drives early, putting teams in a position where they have to throw. I think that's exactly the formula that we're going to have moving forward until we're healthy again. So I was excited to see it and see what we can continue to do moving forward.
I tell you, I think Micah Parsons is easily the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, especially with TJ Watt out for a couple months.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think it, barring any injury or anything, I think that I don't see him slowing down. He hasn't shown that he ever slows down. I mean, it looked like, for a split second yesterday, it looked like, he rolled his ankle like funny and stayed in the game, and that just showed me even more of kind of he's in this all the way. There's not a play he checks out. It's definitely comforting to have him on the other side of the ball.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think he really is that X factor that so many teams look for. I mean, shoot, my team, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, we, we sold the farm, to get Von Miller to get that kind of like similar production. And like when you get that kind of takeaway potential, it's just insane. So I'm excited for him. He's really fun to watch. That's for sure.
It really is. It really is.
No.
So,
but just real quick, just to stay on the boys. If it's not a good season, is Mike McCarthy in the hot seat?
I think either way, Mike McCarthy's in the hot seat. Honestly, there's no question really who is the real voice of this team, and that's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is who I would love to see as our head coach.
Really?
I know he struggled a little bit in Atlanta, but I think it's always about the players you have. I think that our players fit really well. We do have a lot of boomer bust guys, Trayvon Diggs, for example, these are the kind of guys that I think Dan Quinn likes. Dan Quinn is, a high risk, high reward kind of guy. And I think our players are really buying into that. And the fact that he turned down head coaching jobs to stay says a lot too. I don't think Mike McCarthy does much, really. I mean, there's not much that he does. There's not much value. So win or lose, I still think he's on the hot seat. I don't know that Jerry is going to, just keep him around just because they win games. I can't see that happening. But we'll see. If we do go deep in the playoffs, then maybe he does stay. You can't really fire a coach at that point. No, I think there's a lot that has to happen for him to be safe, I think, in Dallas for sure, in my opinion.
No, I like that.
There's a lot, we've made it to the playoffs with them, but we haven't done more than that. And I think that Jerry wants a Super Bowl before he dies. That's, he wants one more. So he's going to do whatever he has to do to make that happen. So, yeah, I do think that he's on the hot seat, and win or lose, he is, in my opinion.
I like that take. I'm excited to see how that plays out, because I think you're right. It really could go either way. And I don't want to say Cowboys are in win now mode, but I mean, definitely the most talked about team the last 5 years, more or less,
Yeah.
So it's time to, put up or shut up pretty much.
It really is.
But anyway, fellas, enough about the past, or let's get into this week's slate. All right. Week 3 started off. A lot of division games this week so far, at least at the start. Steelers, Browns. Holden, I want you to start.
I I'm going to take – this is a tough one for me. I feel like the Browns, again, I don't really have the Steelers very high this year.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Browns just basically choked away a pretty easy win.
Mm-hmm.
Without TJ Watt, I know their defense is still good. They only let up 17 points. They still have a fairly good defense. I don't know. I just feel like this one really hurt the Browns. Some could say that this could really affect the Browns moving forward. I think they still have they had a bad week. I think they're going to bounce back after one of the worst losses, I think, in NFL history, if you want to really talk about the statistical, of how they lost that game. I think they come back this week and bounce back. I think they beat the Steelers.
I think it helps that they are at home too. No, for sure. Anthony, who you got in this one?
I like the Browns too. I think that's never a way you want to lose. But I think that's a really easy, it's early enough in the year. And I think that's a really easy, to me, I think it's still a motivator for them because, they're still, they're 1-1 now. They won't let that happen again. I'm sure of that. And I think that they're kind of in a similar situation as the Cowboys right now. I think that if they can establish the run and keep the ball away from the Steelers as much as they can, I think that's how they win the game. And I think they'll be able to do that. I don't see the Steelers being able to, I don't see the Steelers offense as much of a huge threat right now. And I think the Browns being back, being at home and, that's where you want to be they're at home again and they get to they got to prove something now after that. I think they have a chip on their shoulder that they're going to be playing with. And I just don't see the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers have the manpower to go in that environment and win this week.
Hey, that's tough. Well, no, just kind of jumping off what you said and something me and Holden mentioned before, we welcomed you on the show, is just, Cleveland would have had a huge advantage in this division had they won. I mean,
yeah, they really would have.
The only 2-0 team, and, Steelers got a nice division win week 1 that no one really saw coming.
No.
And, we're all thinking that the Browns are really not, at full capacity. And just the history of the AFC North and with Baltimore always being an X factor, it's like you really needed that game. So that's tough. That being said, I'm sticking with my AFC North pick. I'm going Steelers. I don't care. Yes, no TJ Watt. Personally, I would love to see them run the ball more effectively with Najee Harris. I think him only getting 40 yards Sunday is just not enough for him.
No.
He's getting the touches, but they just got to make him more effective somehow. You put too much into him. I think he's too much of a talent. I am starting to question. I know it's only week 2, definitely to overreact. When are we going to start seeing Kenny Pickens? Because our Steelers insider has told us that he's not pushing the ball enough. Mitch is not taking risks, so maybe we see what this young kid gets. But I think just Tomlin's record is too good against the Browns. I will admit the home field advantage for the Browns and coming off a tough loss, do you think they bounce back? But yeah, no, I'm just going to roll Pittsburgh, baby. Here we go. Moving it on to my game of the week, keeping it in the AFC, Bills, Dolphins. I don't even know if this is home or away. It's in Miami. It's in South Beach. I don't have anything to say. It's gonna be the Bills all day. Miami looked really good, especially in that fourth quarter against Baltimore. But Baltimore's secondary defense, in my opinion, is really overrated. So we've had their number the past 4 years. I don't think that stops. I think it's lights out. Josh really plays well in that warm weather, so it's all Bills for me. Hold it.
I'm gonna go Bills too. Everybody's talking about Miami right now. I really do want to see how the Bills play tonight, and then that'll reassure me some more. But I feel like that Miami game was amazing, and it was awesome to see. But it's just I don't see that happening all the time. When you have 2 fast receivers breaking for 150 plus and 2 TDs and 10 plus receptions, it was just that day for them, right? And Tua was just slinging it, and it's just sometimes guys have that day, and that just happens. And it actually sucked because the dude I'm playing in fantasy started Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Thought I had a chance. I had guys getting TDs all game. I think every one of my guys got a TD, and then 40 points a pop for both of them. No chance for me. But I'm just
worst.
I just don't see that happening again. And I think the Bills secondary is a lot better, and they're going to watch film on that and realize they're going to find ways to contain that. And I just don't see them doing it again. I think Miami, I didn't give them enough credit, but I'm still not ready to like crown Tua yet. I need to see more of that. It was awesome. It was cool to watch as a fan, but like, is that sustainable? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I mean, one quick thing on my end before we go. Oh, you're going Bills? That's right. You said
I'm going Bills.
Let's go. Did they run the ball a lot Sunday? Like, I know Tua had a lot of passing yards and a lot of deep balls, but I don't think Miami ran the ball well.
I don't think they could because they were down so much. They kind of they were forced to throw so much. Like, I don't even think early on, like, Baltimore got out to a pretty strong lead early, so they didn't really have too much time to run.
I know it's very different teams, and like we'll definitely get a better test of it in my theory, at least tonight, seeing how we limit Derrick Henry. I think week 1, when we played the Rams, it's like we kind of let Cooper Kupp do his thing, but then let him go off. We limited him, and then like their run game was non-existent. I think if we really just take away the run game and limit the pass game, like I don't say, I mean, it seems like all their yards are through the air. So if it's like, okay, try to run on us, and if that doesn't work, then as long as Josh doesn't make mistakes. But that's just me. Anthony, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think to make this call, I just kind of erased the fourth quarter of yesterday's game with Miami.
Like that.
Because the fact of the matter is they had no business winning that game. That was more, to me, I think that was more on Baltimore than Miami. Miami took advantage of the situation they were in, but I don't see Josh Allen and the Bills, giving them those kinds of opportunities. There's a little less tape on the Bills right now, but from what I've already seen, I think that the Bills just dominate from start to finish in that game. I think that the Dolphins are going to be riding this emotional roller coaster hangover that they're going to be on now.
Yeah.
That was a lot of effort, a great effort, but that really does take a toll on a team, just mentally as well. I think that there's a lot that they got to come back down to earth and get ready for the Bills, and I just don't know that with the young team like they have that they'll be able to do that and sustain that. I think the Bills win. I think Tua, is brought back down to life a little bit too. I think he's definitely progressing, but I don't think they're ready, really to face a division of opponent like the Bills and come out with a win. So I'm going to take the Bills on that as well.
Love it. I hope it happens. I love squishing the fish, especially this early in the season. But keeping in the AFC, we're doing all AFC games to start here. Bengals, Jets. I probably saw this last season, and Jets had a sneaky win out here. Anthony, how about you start us off for this one?
This one's tough, man.
It shouldn't be tough though,
because
right?
It shouldn't be tough. But if we're talking, I think it's clear. I think the Jets are just playing better football. Like, believe it or not, I think that the Jets week 2 is a huge, I think, sort of window into what teams are going to start to progress to be. And I think the Bengals came into Dallas and didn't fix any of their issues from week 1.
No.
At all.
Where's the firepower from last year?
No firepower, and it just from like 7 minutes into the game, Joe Burrow looked like he was defeated, like the game was over, already. And I think that he's already, hit the ground, 13 times this year, and in 2 games, and I think that that's going to take a toll on him. I'm going to take the Jets here. I think I love
that pick.
I like, the Jets are going to be flying high. And going into a very, playing a very defeated Bengals team right now. And I think that the Jets are just going to have the right energy where the Bengals are going to be in panic mode, I think, and they're going to be I can see Burrow forcing a lot of stuff. I think he's young. I don't think that he was ready for this right now for 0-2 and to try and find, I don't see how they fix what they're. I mean, they didn't block Micah Parsons like 10 times.
But you can't. He has a 25% or 28% rush win rate. That's insane.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about they didn't even block it. He was unblocked. Like there was several times where he was just unblocked. So if you can't even account for the one player you need to account for on the offensive line, I think that their struggles are going to continue. I think that I know that they're going to be looking for that bounce back win. But I really just I don't see it. I don't see that they're in a lot of trouble, and I just think that the Jets have a lot to be excited about, where Cincinnati doesn't. So I can see the Jets, and I think it is in
New York. It is in the Meadowlands.
In the Meadowlands as well. So, I had to get last year out of my mind to make that call, but I like the Jets this week.
That's crazy, but I love it. All right, Holden, what you thinking here?
Yeah, it's not super crazy because, again, with the past 2 weeks of upsets that we've seen, it's you could very well make a case like Joe Flacco's playing well. For some reason, it's hard for me to I hear what Anthony says, and I do think it's a great point. Like, it's like, you're 0-2. Are you going to respond, or is this just going to be like a domino effect where it's like you're 0-5? Now what? Now you're freaking out.
Yeah.
But I just feel like this team has still got enough talent. I still think that Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, Mixon, there's still so much talent there. I know Joe Burrow's on the ground. He's on pace to have the most sacks in NFL. I think he's on pace for 111 sacks or something this year.
Good.
It's some wild number, but I still think they find a way. I do think the Jets are going to be a tough feat because of the high that they are on. Kind of bring it back to that point where I don't think they had any business winning that, but kind of took advantage of some blown coverage and then just, a bad team going and getting a bad play on the onside kick. And I think the Bengals sneak one with McPherson on a late kick or something like that. I think it's going to be tight, but I think McPherson finds a way to save their season from turmoil.
That's crazy. So, y'all seem to have a similar opinion on this, and what I was thinking during this whole time is it too early to hit the panic button if you're the Bengals?
Not yet, because of the way the rest of the division is currently.
But let's say they lose and they're 0-3.
If you're 0-3, yeah, it's time to hit the panic button, because just as far as statistics show, once you go 0-2, 0-3, really we don't have enough statistics on a 17-game season yet. But when you go 0-2, your chances of making the playoffs and getting into that dance go significantly down. So yes, it is a big deal, which is why I think in a 17-game season, we'll see what happens if they go 0-3. Then I think you hit the panic button, but I think they got one more week to show it.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. I feel you almost have this Super Bowl hangover effect with them when they didn't even win. It's just no one really saw them to make it to the AFC Championship, and they did. And I'm starting to wonder if they're frauds. Seems like their defense can't do anything. It seems Joe Burrow doesn't have any time to throw, and the run game's inconsistent. So it's just what are you going to do? But that being said, my pick to summarize, I gotta go with the Bengals. I don't see them going 0-3. I agree with you. The Jets are playing good ball. Going into this season, I did say I loved their offseason. I loved their draft. I really did think that they improved. It would be interesting to see them with a healthy Zach Wilson to see how that all meshes. But yeah, I don't know. I think Cincinnati can't go 0-3, because if so, I don't know. I think it's trouble in paradise, and you got to start trying to figure some stuff out, or your season's done, and you're what is the top left tackle on this upcoming draft?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, here we go. Big matchup here off of a tough loss for one of these teams. Raiders, Titans in Tennessee. I'm going to start it off right here, right off the bat. I'm going Raiders. I don't think Tennessee is that good. I hope I'm not proved wrong tonight when they play the Bills. I think Tannehill is just the expiration date is here. There's no offensive firepower with receivers. Oakland looks good. Vegas looks good. They should have won against the Cardinals. I think they win this game. Let's go to Anthony here.
Yeah, I mean, These are two teams that I haven't watched a ton this year, to be honest. I mean, it's we're not gonna get a lot of those games here, especially, but just from what I have seen and just what I've seen from the past couple years, yeah, I got to take the Raiders in this one too. I just think that they have a more complete team than the Titans. It's always hard to completely count out the King, but I think Ryan Tannehill is, every year he's just becoming more and more of like a poor man's Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
So they just don't have a lot of pieces that I think can really pull off many wins this year. I don't see it. And again, the Raiders are another team, with let game right out of their grasp, and tough overtime loss when they had it won. And I can see them recovering well. Carr, they have the type of players that I think have good heads on their shoulders that will, short-term memory and shake it off and just find a way to win that game. So I'm going to take the Raiders as well.
Love it. Holden?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you guys. Like to piggyback off where I definitely think that Devontae Adams and guys like that will respond better from that kind of a loss than, maybe. Well, again, we'll see what the Titans do tonight. But I really can only think. Then again, I will say, Josh Gordon got activated tonight for the Titans, right? If I'm not mistaken. I'm curious to see how he plays tonight. I think that would be just fun to see if he gets back, but I just don't think they have enough weapons, dude. Like, I really don't. Like, I just don't see it. So again, with Anthony said, complete team. Yeah, let's go with the Raiders. Coming off a bounce back.
The Raiders. All right, let's switch up to the NFC finally for once. Saints, Panthers in Charlotte. Anthony, who you got?
This to me is one of the more even matchups, in my opinion. I think we're not getting a ton of offense out of either team right now. But I think that the Saints defense is going to give them the edge in this one. I like the Saints. I just think that the Panthers they're a mess right now. I still don't think that they're fully sold on Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. They're kind of like the better of two evils for them right now. And this year, more so than really any year that he's been in the league, you can just tee off on Christian McCaffrey pretty much the whole game. You take him out of the game, and there's really not much left there. Maybe a play or two from Anderson, down the field, but I don't see a lot from them. And I just think that Baker just continues to be Baker, very mediocre, and just not finding a rhythm at all there. And so I still like the way the Saints are playing better than the Panthers, and I can see the Saints, coming in and winning this one too. So I'm going to take the Saints.
Does Jameis's health worry you at all?
Not really, because I think that the Saints still have, they're in an interesting situation because they have kind of two offenses ready to go. With, you put Taysom Hill in there, kind of, playing more of a wildcat, trickery sort of offense. I think that they'll have, be able to make the plays that they need, enough plays to win. I think Carolina is, they're not good. They're just not very good all around. They don't have much going for them. I think the Saints just have a little bit more firepower that I think they pull this one off. Low scoring game, but I think they pull it out.
Okay, all right. Holden, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I kind of piggyback off a lot of that stuff. I just don't think that I think division games are always kind of tough, and it is kind of weird to see Carolina maybe going 0-3, but especially after last year's 3-0 start, But I think they're going to have a complete opposite start. But then things just kind of went downhill after that 3-0 start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, I just don't think enough there. I don't think Matt Rule is a great coach.
He's on the hot seat, right?
He could be, absolutely. I mean, especially when you have some of these quarterbacks that you've got at such, I know that you can't rate everybody on a, draft what round you were drafted, but he's got a lot of quarterbacks that he has to work with at his disposal, and we haven't really seen any success on any of the options that he has. So, and you've got McCaffrey, and when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league, if not the best. So, yeah, I just think right now the Saints just have the better overall team, and I'm gonna go with the Saints.
I'm torn on this game because I feel neither of these teams are really good. I will say this does feel like an even matchup. It was nice to see Christian McCaffrey getting over 100 yards. But, I mean, the yards per carry average wasn't great. But it's like, okay, at least you can have that kind of wear and tear, through a whole game of football and be okay, But, yeah, nothing jumps out on paper for either of these teams. I think Jameson's health concerns me. I saw stuff on Twitter about like stuff on his spine, his L3, his L4. Like he has a bunch of broken stuff in his back, and they're wrapping up to pad him so he can get through the hits. But I mean, offensively, receiver wise and running back wise, they have a ton of talent, and the defense is good. But if you don't have someone who can sling the ball, I mean, it's just I don't know. They got to figure something out long term because that should be a playoff team. It should on paper, but. That being said, rounding it all up, I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm just going to bandwagon here. I can't bet money on Carolina. I would bet it on New Orleans for sure, and they got to bounce back after Tampa. If they lose another bad loss, then you may have to go back to the drawing board on that. Moving on, this is a weird one. Ravens, Patriots. Patriots getting a close win on the road. Ravens losing one in the last seconds. It's in New England. Holden, I want you to tell me who's going to win this game.
I'm going to go with my AFC North pick. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. Two good coaches going at it. Yeah. Two good coaches at it. Scares me a little bit that it's away, but again, like this is just one of those things where I think Lamar's going to be so pissed off, and I think he might run all over this. And I'm typically pretty big on the Patriots defense, which Patriots did, their defense was pretty good this week. But again, they might get J.K. Dobbins back this week. I don't know.
Dude, don't even say that to me. That's such a sore point.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's a yes or no, but I just like the weapons better. I think New England's, they're okay. I mean, I don't think they're great, but I mean, Bateman, I think he scored back-to-back long balls.
He's looking good so far.
Mark Andrews had some nice plays.
Still top 5, top 3 tight end guy.
Yeah, just think there's more weapons, and I think they respond after a gut-wrenching loss. I think they respond back after that. So I'm going to go Ravens.
Nice. Love it. Anthony, what you got here?
I think that this one for me is pretty easy, as far as who I'm definitely going with the Ravens here. I just think, to be honest, like so far this year I forgot that the Patriots were a team.
Right?
It's just they just don't have much. I just don't think they have near enough firepower to go to go play for play with the Ravens. I think, like Holden said, I think that the Ravens are going to play pissed off, and if there's certain teams in this league that just over the years, that when they're pissed off, they're really going to be firing on all cylinders in this one. And I just think that Mac Jones I don't think this is going to be a type of game where he can just game manage like he's kind of been doing, and that's kind of his role right now. I think that they're going to have to score points to win this one, and I just don't see them, being able to do that and keeping pace with the Ravens in this game. So I'm going to go with Ravens on this one.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I've been saying this all off season. I mean, last week too, it's just like this Patriots team looks dead. I mean, even last year I was saying Mac Jones is not special. I use the term game manager to describe him time and time again. There's not nearly the level of talent that surrounded Tom through all those years.
No.
So, and like even the defense looks flat. Like, I mean, yeah, you held Pittsburgh, who really doesn't have an offensive identity, to like, I don't know, 2 scores. But outside of that, I don't know. So I think it's got to be all Ravens, barring it's too early for weird New England weather to like work in favor of the Patriots. So yeah, no, Baltimore's coming back. They're coming back in a big way. Interesting. I'll be interested to check out that spread when it comes out. Keeping in the NFC division game, Lions, Vikings. This game could be closer than we thought. I mean, we'll see how Vikings play against the Birds today. But, I mean, this could be a really, really good game for the first time in a long time. Anthony, what's going through your head?
Man, I think since this is partially biased,
Yes.
I kind of fell in love with this Lions team watching Hard Knocks, man. Like they have that like underdog spirit.
They're owning it.
They're just owning it, and I think that I think they have the highest scoring offense in the NFL right now.
Who would have thought that?
Am I wrong? 35 and then what was it? 36, 35 and 36. I mean,
unless the Eagles put up like 30 or 40 tonight, or like maybe the Bills, I know.
Yeah. And I'm actually like, to be honest, I could, give Holden a lot of crap, but I'm not. I think the Lions beat a good Washington defense. I think that they put up numbers on a solid defense. I think they just played well on both sides of the ball. And I just like their spirit. I like that Rodrigo guy they got. He's just kind of like this rough and tumble kid that's just having fun. And I think you can feel that for the whole team. That being said, I still don't think that they have enough. I still don't trust them in next week with the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are just a little bit more put together. I think they're a little bit more polished as a team. The Vikings are a team that we'll know more about tonight, but I think the Vikings have put a lot of good pieces in place. I think their defense is much better. I think that I could see this being a really good game, but the Vikings are gonna win this one. Yeah.
Perfect. Hold it.
Yeah. Very nice of you, Anthony, to say that our defense is good. It's not good right now. Our defense is playing horrible. I will say that. The pieces are there on defense. The pieces are there. Like you have the pieces, but you're not doing anything with it. We got absolutely torched in that. I'm not going to get onto a huge tangent. What did scare me though is like you saw how Washington was able to respond and bring it to within a score so fast. Which that makes me think like, okay, they didn't, I mean, yes, they won, but they didn't like full throttle run away with it. We were able to get it to within a 7 and, had a really big opportunity. Even on one of the throws that Jared Goff threw while he was getting hit, RCB slipped and St. Brown caught another tutter in the end zone. And I'm like, man, if he doesn't slip, that's a pick. And it's it was one of those things where it sucked and it was a touchdown and it just sucked. But I'm like, I don't think that this team, again, like he said too, you watch Hard Knocks, you fall in love with some of these guys. If Aiden Hutchins is a little banged up too, which he kind of played a little rusty second half, I still think the Vikings have an edge over them in this matchup. But, I mean, very, very much trending up. Like this team is going to be, I think Dan Campbell said it at the end of Hard Knocks. He was like, this team can and will, right? That's what he said. Yeah. The 2022 Lions will what? And he said can and will. Like they're going to be competitive. It's going to be a dogfight. They're going to keep coming at you. I mean, they're going to be a good team and it's going to be a tough out every week. I still think the Vikings just hold the edge still in the division.
I mean, Lions were a good team last year. I mean, in the fact that they were competitive every game. I think every loss they had was a 1-score loss, no blowouts. The offense has been looking great. What really impressed me especially was the run game. I mean, they outgained Washington on the run game by double. And that was with a snap count on DeAndre Swift.
Our interior sucked, dude. Our interior sucked.
For sure, for sure. Would have helped with the offense, bailed them out a little in the first half, but you know, that's for another week, But that's a whole nother game. We're talking about this game. We're talking Minnesota, Detroit. But yeah, I'm with you. I do think that Vikings are kind of like the more complete, or at least like the more established team. I wouldn't be surprised, and part of me does want to see this Lions team give the Vikings a run for their money, maybe get a win on the road or something, because Goff hasn't made really any mistakes, which is impressive. They're really playing to his strengths. But yeah, I mean, unless I see something different tonight between Philadelphia and Minnesota, I think this is Minnesota's game to lose. So I'm going to go Vikings just for the sake of my record. I got beat Holden out. It's so close. I don't think it'd be so close. All right, moving on. Holden's game of the week. The Birds are coming to the nation's capital, soon to be Woodbridge, Virginia. Holden, I don't have to ask you having this, but tell me why the Commanders are going to get a division win.
I'm going to tell you exactly why. Okay.
Yes.
And I don't know what's going to happen tonight.
No,
I mean, obviously,
yeah, you do.
Obviously, it's Skull Vikings tonight. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's Skull. But let me just tell you this right here. Carson Wentz has got a chip. Okay. Carson Wentz is playing some good ball right now.
A huge chip.
Huge chip. It's at home. People could argue our home field advantage is actually starting to turn a little bit. I still think we're going to see a lot of green there. This is a lot of Philly fans like to travel. I'm sure there's going to be about 15 fights before and after this game. I just think Wentz is going to ball out on his old squad. And I know that's partially biased, and I don't care. Like, I think the line is -4 to Philly right now. I think it's going to be close. I really want to see how we make some adjustments and contain Jalen Hurts. That scares me so much, and I really am going to watch a lot of this Vikings game tonight to see if the Vikings are able to do that, because the Lions really weren't. So that obviously scares me. Got to have an answer for A.J. Brown, but I think we have the weapons to do it. I don't see our defense playing as bad as it did yesterday. I could be wrong on that. I really would like to think Ron Rivera is going to make some adjustments and not come out so flat on the first half of an NFL football game. It's rare that a team comes out that flat again a second week. I just don't see it. So,
well, I mean, it's just like it begs the question. It's just like, okay, was the Jaguars' offense just that lackluster? But then they played well against Indy, so it's like, dang, is Detroit's offense just that good? Or like you said, was Washington just flat that first half on the defensive side of the ball, and offense didn't get anything going? But my question for you, Holden, is like, which would you rather face, like truly as a Washington fan, a Philly team coming off a loss or coming off a W? Which do you think is easier to beat? I know that's subjective, but
I'd probably rather playing them coming off a win, to be honest, just because I think they feel a little bit better. Hey, we're 2-0. We're gonna be 3-0. Everybody's picking us. That even though players say they don't really hear it, I think they do hear it somehow, some way. So I'd probably rather play them coming off of a win, but I still want them to lose, because at the end of the day, like it's all about numbers. It's all about where you are. And if we get them to 1-1, push them down to 1-2, we're 2-1. We're holding that lead. That would be huge.
Yep. Especially at home.
But yeah, especially at home. I mean, we got to get this one. This is one of those ones where, you lose this and you go 1-2. Now we're talking about that hole that you're digging yourself out of, and you're trying to get back to 500.
Yep.
Got another division game the week after, so it's a big, big deal. I think Carson Wentz is going to really shut these Eagles fans up. I feel so confident in him when I watch him play quarterback. I mean, he's got some of, people are going to say everything they want about their quarterback and their specific play, but what I'm seeing from a quarterback perspective from my current quarterback is the dude is balling right now, and I love it. So I think he's going to torch his old team. I really do.
I love to hear it. Anthony, you're chomping at the bit. Tell me what's going through your mind, the other NFC East expert here.
This one is tough for me just because I want both of them to lose, obviously.
He's going to call it tie.
Would be for the first time.
But I have stuck true to the fact that I still don't trust Jalen Hurts. I know that he'll have spurts of good games, but he struggled. I think he just struggles, especially in big moments. He hasn't proven that he's gonna, come out and win the big games that he needs to win. And I think the division games are prove that. And believe it or not, if it's a partially biased pick, I'm still going Washington because
making Holden's day, man.
Maybe
Philly,
I'll pick the Cowboys.
It's tough for me to really make a true pick. I'll just go ahead and say that here. It's a hard one for me because I just have that clouded judgment in my mind that both these teams suck. That's just how it is in the NFC East. But I just can't stand Eagles fans way more than I can tolerate Washington fans. Eagles fans, I can't do it.
Hey,
I can't do it with
them. This is partially biased. That's what we're supposed to say.
Partially biased pick is going to take Washington in this one. And I think when it comes to the NFC East, I think it doesn't matter who's playing great and who's not. It's just always a dogfight. And I don't think that Philly has that dogfight in them. I think they added some pieces with AJ Brown. They're going to be try and be cute with the ball too much with their playmakers, and I don't think in a division game that's going to work for them very well. I think that Washington has the ability to really beat them up front, kind of chip away at that really good offensive line. But they haven't really, seen a front like Washington's yet either. In their first game, I don't think that the Lions' front is anything like what Washington has right now. And I think that it's going to be a dogfight in the trenches. And I think I can see Washington pulling that one out.
This is tough because I felt just like I was getting here and I'm like, dang, I don't know if I can pick them. But then Holden talks me into it and I agree with him. I love the narrative of, Carson Wentz beating the team that drafted them, the one that he helped win them a Super Bowl for, and like they're not going to repeat themselves. But then Philly just looked good week one. I mean, tough game. And I really need to see that film from tonight against a good Vikings team to really assess this. But I'm like, historically, Washington just doesn't play well at home.
Let me tell you this too. Just a little sidebar here. Last year when we played the Eagles twice, we're up 10-0 both games. We're in position to win both games. And Taylor Heineke and Garrett Gilbert are our quarterbacks in those matchups.
Dude,
those
Garrett
are two.
Gilbert's a beast.
That was COVID week, and we literally were going toe to toe with them in Philly, and then same thing when we were in Washington. Taylor Heineke's has a game-winning drive and throws an interception. So, I mean, it's like we played this team tough last year, and we've only gotten stronger at the quarterback position, only added weapons. We don't have Chase Young, obviously, but I do think like Anthony said, too, the pieces are there. Can they come together as far as a front? Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, we're going to have to be on point and force them not to, force stuff the run and then have contain on the outside with Sweat. And, we're going to have to play spy on Jalen all game. But
all right, damn it. Holden, you convinced me. I'm giving Washington one more chance. All right. Part of me wanted me to disagree with you because who knows? Maybe if I disagree with you, then they'll win. But also, I have to beat you in picks this season, so I can't agree with you on everything. So, but Washington gets this one from me. If they don't win this time, I'm picking the other team when they play in Philly. Okay.
You can't do that because that's Carson's homecoming. He's going to tear him up then too, dude. You can't do that.
Whatever. Whatever. All right, fine.
That's a Monday nighter too.
Ooh, does Carson play well on Monday night? But then there's Jalen. I like the point of not trusting Jalen. I'm kind of in that mindset too, unless they're really just playing to his strengths these days. But let's move it on to what probably will be a total snooze of a game. Chiefs Colts. I mean, it's got to be Chiefs by what? 21 points by this point, right?
Yeah, I think that's a consensus pick here.
Yeah.
I think
as crazy as it sounds, yeah. I mean, like I haven't seen anything from the Colts. Jim Irsay's realizing this is not good.
Nope.
And
I think they can't draft quarterback talent. They can't develop it unless it's number one overall.
Yeah.
It is sad. But that being said, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but let's assume they lose, get blown up by the Chiefs. It's panic time in the AFC South. Yeah? Even though that division is bad. I mean, the Texans don't look good. The Jags are okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say with that division. I mean,
Yeah.
that division
Still-
could be, an 8-9, 9-8 team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
And then get blown out in the playoffs probably. But
Right.
yeah, that's exactly.
Dang, okay, cool. Well, we're all on the Chiefs.
Yep.
Let's hope the Colts lose. I don't like Matt Ryan. It's time to hang it up, bud. And let's move on to another potential snoozer here, but could be contentious. Texans Bears in Chicago. Do we get a repeat of a monsoon bear weather? Holden, what's going on here?
I'm going Texans in this one, dude. Again, they're up on the Colts. They tie. They play Denver pretty tight, which everyone's thinking Denver's got, I know we had talked about a little early where we haven't really seen Denver yet. And it's just what's going on? But this Texans team is they're not special or anything, but no. I really don't love the Chicago team for some reason. I don't know if it's just Fields, just can't really throw. He's not a very good passer. Kind of reminds me of Hurts in a way but he has nowhere near the leg talent that Jalen Hurts has. It's just, I just am not seeing it. I don't think they have the weapons. I think Brandon Cooks is still a very good receiver in this league. And I think a lot of people like to play for Lovey, and I'm going to go with the Texans in this one.
That's crazy. All right, Anthony, what are your thoughts?
This is another one of those that it's just, there's not even a lot of commentary on these two teams right now. I think they're both pretty vanilla teams in my opinion. But if I'm gonna go one way or the other, I like the Bears at home. In a game like this, I think it's gonna be sloppy. I think it's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna get a ton out of this game. But I think the Bears are gonna find a way to win one at home, get a little bit of energy and excitement back. They're a relatively young team too. So and I think that their defensive front is going to be the difference maker in this one. If I had to go with one bright spot in this game, I still like the way that the Bears pressure.
Yeah.
They got a lot of dogs on that front seven, and
for now.
Yeah, for now. But I'm gonna take the Bears here.
That's crazy. Okay, all right. Holden, who did you pick again?
I think the Texans.
Man. I'm torn. I hate both these teams. Both these teams suck. Bears got really lucky week one. Texans should have won week one, but the Colts are total frauds. I'm gonna take the Texans. I'm gonna be on them too. I think this Bears team stinks. I think also I'm solely picking the Texans because I picked the Bears win total under, so I need that bet to hit. So I'm gonna roll with that. And I don't want to talk about this game anymore. So we're gonna move it on. God. Jaguars, Chargers. This could be a better game than we think. Jaguars showing a little bit of life. Bolts still playing second fiddle to Kansas City and the Chiefs. Anthony, help me figure out who's going to
win. I think the Jaguars showed that they are capable, but again, they came in and beat up on a very bad Colts team. A little bit, They just found a little bit more of a rhythm. I think this is going to be a bloodbath, to be honest. I think the Chargers are going to win this one by a few scores. I just think that they have more firepower.
We're talking alt spread. LA minus.
I like LA.
15.
I like Herbert. I think that Herbert is just going to have I think he's going to put kind of bring the Jags back to ground level here. I think that they are going to be flying high, but I think I think the Jags have a major false sense of security right now. And I think that that's going to be very apparent in this matchup. I've liked the Chargers. I like what they did in the offseason. I just like the pieces that they have, and I can see I don't see them really having a struggling in this one to be quite honest.
What about Herbert's ribs, though? He's got the broken ribs, apparently, or bruised, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to mention. That's what concerns me a little bit. But
yeah, but
Chase
even
Daniel's
then,
a backup.
Yeah, Chase Daniel is capable, and you still got. I know you know Keenan Allen is still dealing with the hamstring, but I still think that with Eckler and Mike Williams, I mean, I just think they get it done. I think that they have the more than enough pieces to get this one done.
Okay, Holden, anything to sway your mind?
No, the health concern does scare me a little bit, like one bad hit. But I think Justin Herbert's freaking tough because I mean he went in there and kept fighting and was doing everything he could.
Covered the spread.
So cover the spread. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers with this one. I don't really have to say too much either. We'll tell you this: I'm expecting Austin Eckler to have a day. I feel like he's been struggling to get going, like really. I feel like he's really going. I think they're going to utilize him so much in this game to really like be Herbert's safety net. So I think he's going to get a lot of catches. I think he's going to a lot of screens, and he's going to really kind of have himself a day in the end zone. Actually, too, I think he's finally getting in the end zone this week.
Out damn time, especially for all the fantasy people who drafted him. Not me, but I'm sure people out there are like, what the heck? I mean, hopefully it's not getting to that age where, running backs kind of fall off, especially, one's kind of his size. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go Bolts. I also just love their defense. I think, it's kind of underrated with one of the Bosa brothers and then Khalil Mack and then Derwin James and et cetera, et cetera. I think Casey Jackson's overrated, but that's for a different episode. But yeah, it's got to be the Bolts here. I think -7 too is really interesting where the spread sits right now. I think I'd be interested in put out a little liner on that. I think Chargers have to get these wins because it's really showing up to be between them and Kansas City, and they don't want to be little brother anymore. They want to be big brother. This one could potentially be the game of the week, the one after it. LA Cardinals finally showing some life this past week, getting a crazy last minute win in a game they really didn't deserve to be in, and then defending Super Bowl champs. Holden, do the Rams sneak a win here in the desert?
That's tough. That's a really tough game. It's tough because I had for sure. It's one of those things too where I like think about like who my pick for the division was, and it's like, do you go against that? It's kind of hard to like juggle that stuff. The Rams scared me, man. I mean, they were up so big, and then like the Falcons came back and like had a shot, like legit. Like I mean, had like almost played spoiler, which would have been another crazy upset. I think the Cardinals. I'm going against my pick, but I think the Cardinals are just on such a high. They kind of kind of got. Say lucky, whatever you call it. I mean, football's lucky sometimes, but Kyler Murray had one of those 20-second. He had a 20-second 2-point converter. It's like when you can sit around and run around that much like he can, it makes defenses. I mean, that's when you're just playing street ball and you just find somebody open or you run it in yourself. I think he's going to be able to utilize that ability this week, and I think they're going to find a way to sneak one against the Rams this week
because they split last year, didn't they? Pretty sure they did.
Yeah, they did.
I can't remember. They did. Okay, yeah. Now I'm gonna go with the Cardinals this one, especially if this is at home too.
All right, Anthony, what's up?
This one's tough because, man, both teams are kind of like showing me flashes and then, really not showing up at all. But just after the first 2 weeks, I think I got to go with the Rams on this one. I think I don't like the way that the Cardinals are playing at all right now. I think they relied very heavily on Kyler Murray making the big plays to get them back in position, and then in that game, those final seconds of that Raiders game. I mean, the Raiders were, looked like they were going to put themselves in a position to win that one too. And the Cardinals, got a lucky balance on that fumble and were able, but they didn't show me anything that, had they not gotten that fumble recovery, that they were going to win that game. And I just don't trust them right now. I don't think they're playing great as a whole. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
I'm totally with you. I mean, division games are so tough. They're always such a coin flip, and just when you think you got to figure it out, something else happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to use Broncos. I can't even talk about them. That wasn't a division game. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going with the Rams. I think that the Cardinals defense can't stop a nosebleed. I think JJ may still be banged up a little. But yeah, no, I think just Rams is the better quarterback talent, and that showed in week 1 when Patrick Mahomes marched in and just made the Cardinals look silly. So I think that's what's going to happen again. I think Aaron Donald's going to have himself a day. So I'm on the Rams there. I gotta disagree with I gotta get these wins on Holden. So this one,
I gotta get these wins on you, boy.
I know we can't, get out of my head. But all right, 4 games left here, boys. Let's keep it rolling. All right, Packers, Bucks, repeat of last year. Do the Packers get revenge? I'm going to say it right here now because I haven't let it pick in a while. I think it's the Packers. I think they kind of had their like makeup game against the Bears. Got a little swagger. They got a little confidence. Bucks did not look good. Saints defense is good, but it was like 3-3 going into the third. I think that Aaron Rodgers finds a way to will his team to a dub, even though Aaron Rodgers belongs in jail. Holden.
Oh, this one's tough, man. This one's really tough. 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time going at it. I am
one the greatest competitor, the other just good.
I am going to take. I kind of want to just disagree with you almost, but I really want to take the Packers, but without Mike Evans, it does scare me a little bit. It does scare me a teeny bit, just a teeny bit.
Especially when the wide receiver room was a little banged up. I mean, is Godwin healthy?
I know, and I know.
Great.
You make the argument that Rodgers doesn't have a ton to work with either, but
he made it work last week. But the Bears stink.
He did. Yeah, that's true.
And the Packers are always just good at home.
I'm gonna take the Packers in this one. I'm not kind of one of those ones where you kind of just like not flip a coin necessarily, but it's just like it really could go either way. But I think in this matchup, I'm just going with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm with you. Health's definitely a factor. Anthony, you on this train?
Yeah, I'm on that train too. I think it's just they found their identity, I think, last night, and I think that Tom Brady's age is showing, in my opinion, and he's already frustrated 2 games into the season. I just don't think I just think that the Packers are. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing better football, and the Packers are going to win this one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well said. All right, let's move on to a game a little more to talk about here. This is a very weird one. Battle of the Birds, Falcons, Seahawks. Seahawks had a sneaky one against a subpar Broncos team. Atlanta almost came back on the defending Super Bowl champs. I think Seattle's actually favored 2 points, which is weird to say out loud. Holden, convince me not to take the Falcons.
Yeah, I got to take the Falcons here. I just feel like I feel like I have to. I mean, I don't really like this Seahawks team. They didn't look good against the 49ers. Granted, 49ers threw Jimmy G in, and their team's going to be a lot better with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think I like the Falcons better, man. I think Kyle Pitts hasn't really been a factor yet. I want to see him get involved a little bit. And I think Marcus Mariota, I mean, again, like what I saw from the Falcons against the Rams, like just their fight and just their ability to come back from like being down so much. I just like that so much more. They really responded. I think that first game too, there was so much energy and there was just so much. It's like they wanted that to end that homecoming so bad that it just kind of worked out like that storybook, like, oh, it's Russell Wilson's homecoming. And it's just like, no, they wanted to stop that so bad. But I don't like Geno Smith. I really don't. I mean, it's not to say I love Marcus Mariota. I like him a little bit better than I do Geno Smith. So I'm just going to ride the Falcons.
Totally valid. Okay.
I'm just going to ride the Falcons.
Ride them Falcons. Dirty Birds. All right, Anthony, you on the Birds as well?
Yeah, I like the Falcons in this one. I think I just think that I don't think the Seahawks are very good at all. I think, like you said, their one win was just kind of like we have to beat Russell. If we go 1-16, we just have to beat Russell. So I think that their Super Bowl was early for them. I don't think they've shown really much more, and I just think that the Falcons are showing a lot of life, for sure. Big win week 1, came back this past week, and I think that they're going to find their rhythm. I think it's going to take them a couple more weeks, but I think we're going to see a few more big plays out of them. I think we see Mariota's legs get involved a little more. I think we see Pitts get involved a little more.
Hopefully.
And I
Dude's
think
gonna ghost out there.
I think the Falcons will win this one for sure.
Very cool. No, I'm on the Falcons as well. I hate the Seahawks team. This earlier in the season, them and the Bears were my picks for the battling out for the worst team in the league. And I also took the Seahawks win total under, which was 4.5 at the time. That was maybe a little too low, but hey, gamblers got to gamble, I guess. So I'm on the Falcons. I like their fight. The Seahawks team stinks. Phil Carroll needs to retire. He's just too out of it. I think you put it beautifully comparing it to that was their Super Bowl. It came early. Now you got to deal with the hangover from it. So, yeah, we're all on the Falcons. This one could be – we got 2 other good games coming up here. We're going to end it on your game of the week, Anthony. But for now, we're on Niners, Broncos. I don't know much to say on this, but I'm going to start – it's Niners all day for me. It's got to be – I think week 1 was a little bit of a fluke with some weather. I almost hate to say that the Trey Lance injury may work out in the favor of the 49ers. Like, yeah, Jimmy G isn't super exciting, but he's still like his basement, is still like a top 20 quarterback. I know that's not huge in a league of 32, but if that's his range, 15 to 20 on a good day, like his best, he can still win some good games with that defense and the system around that. And just purely based off of coaching, this Nathaniel Hackett has sucked these first 2 weeks at clock management, play calling, and Shanahan's not going to make those mistakes. So it's going to be San Francisco. I will be betting on this game for one of my best bets of the week. And that's all I got to say about that. Anthony, back to you.
I like the 49ers in this one too. I think that I believe that the Niners caught a little break here with the Trey Lance injury. I think that
was that a pun when you said break?
Yeah, kind of. Not on purpose.
Too.
Not on purpose, but I just think that we've seen what they can do with Jimmy Garoppolo. I never fully understood the Trey Lance move. I think Trey Lance experiment was short-lived, and I think it failed. I think
really you've seen enough to call it a failure and back to the draft
for this year at least. I think, and now he's coming off that injury, and who knows, what that'll do to his mindset and how he bounces back. But we'll see. But I didn't think he was ready to start yet, anyway. And I think we've seen really good things from this Niners team with Garoppolo that I just don't think the Broncos have found at all. I like the Niners in this one too. I think that just Jimmy G is gonna come out with some life. I think that the whole team is gonna be excited to have him back at the helm, and they're gonna play with a lot of fight there and a lot of energy. So I'll take the Niners in this one.
Boom, hold, go.
Yep. I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I had heard a couple reports or read something where they were like, I think the team is actually like quietly more excited having Jimmy G at the helm than Trey Lance. And I think Jimmy G kind of got something to prove now. They obviously, I don't know what would have happened if they did not re-sign Garoppolo and were in this spot. That would have been disaster, I feel like. And the fact that the fact that they had him on a, one of those deals where it's all incentive based. Obviously, they expected him to play some, and you would think it'd be for poor play and not for an injury. But I think, to Anthony's point, they got a break, and I think the 49ers. I kind of like weirdly want to take the Broncos in this one. I really do.
Yeah,
I just feel like
finally it'll just all click, and they're the team that we thought they would be.
Maybe like week 3, it kind of just settles in because they kind of.
They are in Mile High, but they were in Mile High this past week, and
now screw it. I'm taking the Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos.
Fine.
All right.
We're gonna see what the record's like next week. I'm excited. I'll tell you what. All right. Finally, wrapping it up here. Last game of the week. Best game of the week for Anthony. Cowboys are going all the way to the Big Apple to play the New York Football Giants. Anthony, tell me why the Cowboys are going to bring home a W, division W.
I think it's simple. I think this is definitely another good win for us, with the same formula that we just beat the Bengals with. Daniel Jones is just, the second he's rattled at all, he's just a deer in headlights to me. I think, you start seeing the ball come out quicker, not making good decisions. And I think he's already going to be in that mindset just from watching the film of our front seven, especially with Micah Parsons coming at him. I think they're going to have to try and establish the run, but teams haven't been able to run great on us really either. And I don't think they're going to beat us with just running the ball. I think Daniel Jones is going to have to beat us, and I just think our defense is going to continue sort of this trend that they're on of just getting after it, getting after the quarterback, making it difficult, and they're only going to get better too. And the Cowboys, offensively, there's a chance we get Michael Gallup back in the mix this week. And
that would be huge.
Be able to open the playbook a little bit more that way. Love Noah Brown though. Still, I think that kid will, be our number 3 for a while if he can, continue to produce like he did yesterday. And I think that the Giants, I'm sorry, are, they're sitting at 2-0, but I think there's no question in anyone's mind that they're not a true 2-0. They just kind of had, favorable opponents to start the year.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have a reality check. We haven't let a quarterback throw over 200 yards, and that was Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. So I definitely don't think Daniel Jones is doing that. In any case, and I think that the Cowboys needed this past week's win to just prove to themselves that, this is our formula. Defense is going to win this game. We just need to get a couple scores early and just put our foot on the gas when it comes to just teeing off on Daniel Jones. Rattle, take him to the ground a couple times early, and I think that we'll take him out of that game pretty quick. So, it's going to come down to stopping Saquon. He is capable of, make, some big plays and really beating you up front. But I think we're so deep, we kept 12 defensive linemen on our roster. On our 53, 12 of them are D-line. So we're constantly rotating people in and out, constantly getting fresh legs in there. Got some big bodies in there. Leighton and Micah, Barr will, find his stride a little bit more. I don't see them being able to beat us with Saquon. So, definitely. It's definitely my partially biased pick, but I don't think it's biased at all. I just think the Cowboys will win that game.
Wow. Well said. It's a lot of good reasons. I think you may have convinced me. Holden, you have sleep over there? Are you awake?
Yeah. Just a lot of Cowboys talk. Sorry. No, I hear what he's saying. Yeah. Here's the thing. All right. This is a tough one for me because, again, like in this previous matchup that we're talking Commanders, Eagles, you almost want, Anthony wants them both to lose. I would love if the Giants and the Cowboys could find a way to tie. I'm torn here too because, my dear friend Anthony did pick the Commanders to win this game this week, and I kind of want to be on the same side with him, and I kind of want to say, you know what, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I am far more scared of this Cowboys team for some reason than I am this Giants team.
Well, it's fair.
I'm setting everything up for end of year and all this good stuff. I am going to pick the Giants to be at this weird 3-0. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm taking the.
You almost had me.
I'm taking the Cowboys in this one. I think this Giants team is not very good.
Yeah.
I think they're sitting at a 2-0. That's a weird 2-0.
Yeah.
Even though this Dallas team scares me more, I just think they're a better team than the Giants, even with Cooper Rush. It's going to, again, it's one of those things too, where I'm like, this is a super weird, tough game to it's going to be such a coin flip game. I really do think so. I think it's going to be very close. But again, I think Dallas's kicker, help me out with his name, Anthony.
Brett Money Maher.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those sealers or something. There's going to be a moment in there where he hits like a 50-yarder that just is going to be the game saver, the game clincher, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just, as much as it pains me to say it, I think they win this week, and then that's it. That's probably the last win for Dallas, because after that they're getting smoked in week 4. I know that for a fact. So yeah, enjoy this one, Cowboy fans.
Enjoy this one. Take it to the bank.
That's the Monday nighter, right? Too. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
So that's
Yep.
it's gonna be a fun primetime game to watch as a NFC East fan for sure.
Definitely. Well, fellas, I think you kind of had me convinced. I was a little on the fence because I'm like, dang, this Giants team, 2-0. Brian Dable, former offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, But I do agree with your point, Anthony. I do think it's kind of been a little bit of an easy schedule so far, and I think maybe some conservative coaching and play calling has benefited them, where they've been able to win some close games. But yeah, I've been impressed with this Dallas defense, especially Micah Parsons. I think he is an X factor. I think if you get takeaways, it'll be fine. That'll be like when the final whistle blows, it's like whoever has the most takeaways that game, I think will win. And Cooper Rush looked good. I mean, marched down the field towards the end of that game to set up a field goal kicker for a game-winning kick. So I do like that. And I hate to say it too, but yeah, I'm going to go with the boys on this one. I think they're going to expose the Giants a little, and then we totally have to reevaluate this NFC East. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, but Anthony, you got any best bets for this week?
Best bets for this week.
Yeah, best bets. Anything got written down? Anything you like? Money line, spread, parlay, player props.
I don't know.
Kind of hard because a lot of the lines haven't really come out yet, but you got to take Carson Wentz over passing yards. Whatever it is, you just got to take it. I don't care if it opens I think he opened at 238.5 this week. He hit that basically all in the second half. So he'll probably open this week around probably like 246, 247.
Okay.
Just take it. He's throwing
like
300 on his old. He's throwing 300 on his old team. All right,
he's just going to do it. Let up a ton of yards against Detroit. Let's see if they let up that.
That's
much
right.
tonight.
That's right. So I'm taking Carson Wentz over yards. Don't know what the line's at yet.
Okay.
Take the over.
Yeah.
And then we're taking Washington money line. Okay. This is partially biased. Gamble responsibly, but you can take the +4. You can take the money line, whatever you want there. But I'm taking money line on that one.
Yeah.
Not gonna bet too much. Just let you know, not gonna bet too much. But I do like the money line on this one. I think we get a dub. I think we get a dub here for sure.
For sure. Anthony, you still thinking it over? Or you want me to go?
No, I mean, I love the Cowboys money line. I mean, the Cowboys are not even favored in this game.
Yeah, which is crazy, kind of.
Which that will probably shift pretty quickly. So I think hopping on that now would be a smart bet. I think that Cooper Rush, finds more of a rhythm this week. So I don't know what his yards, what they'll open at, but I can't imagine they'll be very high.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cooper Rush, really being able to open up a little bit more, especially if Michael Gallup is able to play. I'm not, that's still on the fence, but
yeah,
definitely love Cowboys. Definitely covering the 2.5 points, but that money line gives you a little plus money too. So
love the value.
I love the value of it right now. Again, I think that's going to shift really quickly this week.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see a lot coming in on Cowboys pretty quickly. So I love that, obviously. And I love just, I think that I don't know why they're even open have this. I don't know if it's just based strictly on the record right now.
Could just be home field advantage. Home field advantage always has, that always comes into play.
So it's pretty even, I guess, right now. But I think that it's a pretty safe bet there, taking the Cowboys in this one.
Love it. I mean, I always have a few more bets than Holden. I mean, me being partially biased, I'm always going to take Bill spread. They're only a -200 favorite, but they are a 4-point 4-point favorite. I will take that against the Dolphins. I always do. So you can find me on that. Best bet, I'm taking San Francisco -1. I love that. I think that is, I don't know, maybe Vegas knows something that I don't, but this Denver team stinks. This Niners team was 1 game away from going to a Super Bowl, and it's really the same team. And I trust that coaching so much more, so I'll take that. And tell you what, I'm going to moneyline parlay San Fran with who else? I'm going to parlay them with the Raiders and
Bills.
Yeah, I could do the Bills. Yeah, no, you know what? Oh, and the Ravens. Just mix and match. I think the Ravens win too. Ravens are a 3-point favorite. I think we cover that. So those will be my best bets. So you got our picks.
Also, real quick, I want to throw in Austin Eckler anytime TD. I think he's getting in the end zone this week. If he doesn't get in the end zone this week, I mean, I think he's at that like tier 1 where he has to get in the end zone. I mean, he has it in 2 weeks. It's week 3, dude. Like, get in the freaking end zone, dude. Let's see the guitar play. Like,
end zone.
For real.
He will.
Real. I don't know. Maybe take a look at Josh Allen's passing yards because that could be a barn burner, if they got to keep up. I mean, with freaking Tyreek Hill and Waddle. But anyway, you got the picks, you got the bets. Anthony, always having a pleasure. Thanks for coming on season 2.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our Dallas Insider. You got anything else you want to say to the fans at home?
How about them Cowboys?
Well
That's
said.
it, man.
Well
we them
said.
boys. We them boys. We're bouncing back.
The best entrance on this show by far. You set
That
the
was
bar
awesome.
way too high. I was speechless.
That was
Oh,
pretty
man, I've
sweet.
been thinking about that all day.
That's awesome, dude. I'm glad.
Yeah.
This is epic. No, it'll definitely be on our social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. We're on all of that. Yeah, Holden, you good?
I'm good, dude. Go.
All right,
Hey,
fellas.
take command. Take command. Hail to the Redskins.
Shout out to our fans. Hope you won all your bets and go Bills. Bills by 1 billion. Please end the drought. Please, dear God.